Right now, as you watch this video, something massive could be moving through the pitch-black depths of the ocean, completely unseen by human eyes. We've mapped the surface of Mars in greater detail than our own ocean floor. We've sent rovers to distant planets while the world beneath our waves remains almost entirely unexplored. What if I told you that the deepest parts of our ocean might harbor creatures so bizarre, so impossibly alien, that they would rewrite everything we think we know about life on Earth? And here's the truly unsettling part. We have absolutely no idea what's down there. If you're ready to dive into one of Earth's last true frontiers, hit that like button and subscribe, because what you're about to discover will change the way you see the ocean forever. Schools of colorful fish, playful dolphins, maybe a sea turtle gliding peacefully by. This familiar image represents only the thinnest skin of the ocean, a zone scientists call the epipelagic, extending from the surface down to roughly 60 feet. It's the ocean we see in documentaries, the one we swim in, the one that feels safe and knowable. But here's what makes this layer truly remarkable. Despite being such a thin slice of the ocean's total volume, it contains the majority of all marine life on our planet. The secret to this abundance is simple: sunlight. The epipelagic zone is the only part of the ocean where light penetrates with enough strength to fuel photosynthesis. Microscopic organisms called phytoplankton and algae harness this solar energy, transforming carbon dioxide and nutrients into living tissue. These tiny specks, invisible to the naked eye, form the foundation of an intricate food web that sustains everything from sardines to great white sharks. Every breath of oxygen you take, consider this, more than half of it was produced by these microscopic ocean plants. The epipelagic zone isn't just home to marine life, it's one of the lungs of our planet. Within these sunlit waters, life explodes in a dazzling display of diversity. Massive schools of tuna slice through the water at speeds exceeding 40 miles per hour, their streamlined bodies perfect hunting machines. Pods of dolphins communicate with complex clicks and whistles, displaying intelligence that continues to baffle researchers. Coral reefs, often called the rainforests of the sea, transform rocky ocean floors into bustling metropolises where thousands of species coexist in delicate balance. Sea turtles embark on migration journeys spanning thousands of miles, guided by Earth's magnetic field in ways we're only beginning to understand. This zone pulses with energy, movement, and an almost overwhelming sense of vitality. Yet even in this well-lit, thoroughly studied layer, mysteries abound. Scientists estimate that tens of thousands of species living in the epipelagic zone. Every expedition brings new discoveries. Fish with unexpected behaviors, invertebrates with bizarre survival strategies, relationships between species that completely overturn previous assumptions. If we haven't finished cataloging life in the brightest, most accessible part of the ocean, what does that say about the depths below? The epipelagic is also a battleground where the drama of survival plays out constantly. Predators have evolved razor-sharp teeth, explosive speed, and sensory systems so refined they can detect a single drop of blood diluted in millions of gallons of water. Prey species counter with their own impressive adaptations. Schools of fish move in perfect synchronization, creating massive formations that confuse attackers. Others employ camouflage so effective they become nearly invisible. Some fish can even change color in milliseconds to match their surroundings. This is evolution's arms race on full display, with life and death decided in split-second encounters. But as essential and vibrant as the epipelagic zone is, it represents less than 5% of the ocean's total depth. The real mysteries begin when sunlight starts to fade, and we descend into a realm where the rules of life as we know them begin to bend in strange and unsettling ways. Once you pass below 60 feet, something fundamental changes. Sunlight, that life-giving energy that makes the surface waters so productive, begins to weaken and fade. Welcome to the mesopelagic zone, the ocean's twilight realm, stretching from 60 feet down to approximately 300 feet. Here, the familiar blue of the ocean's surface gives way to a deepening indigo, then violet, then something approaching darkness. It's a world caught between light and shadow, where the last remnants of the sun's rays struggle to penetrate. This fading light creates a unique problem for marine life. Photosynthesis becomes impossible here. The algae and phytoplankton that fuel the surface ecosystem simply cannot survive. You might assume this means the mesopelagic is a lifeless desert, but you'd be spectacularly wrong. Instead, life here has evolved one of nature's most mesmerizing adaptations: the ability to create its own light. Bioluminescence transforms the twilight zone into something resembling an underwater galaxy. Approximately 90% of creatures in this zone possess light-producing organs using chemical reactions within their own bodies to generate an ethereal glow. The purposes vary wildly. Some fish use bioluminescent lures to attract prey, dangling glowing appendages in front of their mouths like underwater anglers. Others employ light as camouflage, matching the faint, downwelling sunlight to erase their silhouettes when viewed from below. Still others flash brilliant patterns to communicate with potential mates or to startle predators in moments of danger. Imagine swimming through this zone with all lights turned off. Your eyes would gradually adjust to see countless pinpricks of light: blue, green, occasionally red, pulsing and flickering like stars scattered throughout the darkness. It's hauntingly beautiful and utterly alien. The lanternfish exemplifies life in the twilight zone perfectly. These small fish, rarely exceeding 6 inches in length, possess rows of light-producing organs called photophores running along their bodies. Individual species display unique patterns, like bioluminescent fingerprints, allowing them to identify their own kind in the darkness. But what's truly remarkable about lanternfish is their sheer abundance. Scientists estimate they may be the most numerous vertebrates on Earth, with populations in the trillions. Every evening, they undertake a mass migration, swimming hundreds of feet upward to feed in the richer waters near the surface, then retreating back to the twilight zone before dawn. This daily journey, replicated by billions of organisms, represents the largest animal migration on the planet. It happens every single night. Other residents of the mesopelagic have evolved even stranger adaptations. The hatchetfish, with its thin, vertically flattened body, uses photophores on its underside to perfectly match the faint light filtering from above, rendering itself nearly invisible to predators lurking below. The dragonfish can produce red bioluminescence, a rare color in the deep ocean that most creatures cannot see, giving it a secret spotlight to illuminate prey while remaining hidden itself. Some squid species create dazzling light shows, flashing colors and patterns across their bodies in what appears to be a complex visual language we're only beginning to decipher. But the twilight zone harbors mysteries beyond its strange inhabitants. Sailors have reported seeing massive, unexplained lights moving beneath their vessels, glowing circles expanding outward, stretching dozens of yards across the water, then vanishing as mysteriously as they appeared. Some scientists attribute these to bioluminescent blooms or coordinated displays by schools of glowing organisms, Others aren't so certain. Could there be large creatures down here, things we've never documented, capable of producing light on a massive scale? The mesopelagic zone is vast, poorly explored, and full of shadows. We simply don't know what all might be hiding in that perpetual twilight. As we descend past 300 feet, something profound happens. The last traces of sunlight disappear completely. We've entered the bioluminescent zone, the midnight realm, extending from 300 feet down to 1,300 feet. If the mesopelagic felt like twilight, this is absolute darkness, the kind that presses in from all sides, total and suffocating. Temperatures plummet to just above freezing. Pressure increases to hundreds of times what we experience on the surface. This is an environment that seems fundamentally hostile to life, yet life persists, wearing forms that nightmares are made of. The anglerfish has become the iconic symbol of the deep ocean, and for good reason. Female anglerfish possess a bioluminescent lure projecting from their foreheads, a glowing bulb dangling in the darkness like a beacon. Small fish and crustaceans, drawn to this light in the eternal blackness, approach what they believe is food, only to be snapped up by the anglerfish's massive jaws, bristling with needle-like teeth. But the truly bizarre part of the anglerfish story involves reproduction. Male anglerfish are drastically smaller than females, and when a male finds a mate in the vast darkness, he bites into her body and never lets go. Over time, his tissues fuse with hers. He becomes a permanent parasite, his body deteriorating until he's little more than a pair of gonads providing sperm whenever she's ready to reproduce. It's an extreme solution to an extreme problem. In a world this dark and empty, finding a mate twice might be impossible. The gulper eel looks like something designed by a committee of horror writers. Its mouth can open to enormous proportions, unhinged jaw allowing it to swallow prey nearly as large as its own body. In an environment where food is scarce and meals may be weeks or months apart, being able to eat opportunistically, regardless of prey size, provides a critical survival advantage. The fangtooth fish, meanwhile, has teeth so disproportionately large that it cannot fully close its mouth, giving it a perpetually grotesque grimace. These teeth, the largest relative to body size of any fish, ensure that anything caught has virtually no chance of escape. But perhaps the most unsettling aspect of the bioluminescent zone isn't what we've seen, it's what we've heard. Deep-sea recording equipment has captured sounds that defy easy explanation. The most famous is the bloop, detected in 1997 by underwater microphones positioned thousands of miles apart in the Pacific Ocean. The sound was powerful enough to be picked up across vast distances, far louder than any known animal vocalization. Its acoustic signature suggested a living creature, something massive, far larger than a blue whale. The official explanation eventually settled on ice quakes, massive ice shelves cracking in Antarctica. But the debate never fully died. Some marine biologists quietly acknowledge that the ocean contains vast, unmapped regions where large, unknown species could theoretically exist undetected. We're talking about an environment covering more than half of Earth's surface, with average depths exceeding 2 miles, using equipment that regularly fails under the crushing pressure. Submarines have recorded sonar contacts, large objects moving through the darkness that disappear before visual confirmation. Are these instrument glitches, schools of fish, or something else entirely? The bioluminescent zone keeps its secrets well, and every answer we find seems to generate new questions. Below 1,300 feet, we enter a realm so extreme, so unforgiving, that its very name evokes the depths of hell. This is the abyssopelagic zone, stretching from 13,100 feet down to 19,700 feet. The word abyss carries weight because this zone truly feels like falling off the edge of the known world. If you could somehow stand on the ocean floor here, the pressure would be equivalent to having 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of your body. Temperatures hover just above freezing. Darkness is absolute and unchanging. Food is almost non-existent. And yet, impossibly, life endures. The creatures here have evolved to survive conditions that would obliterate most life on Earth. The basket star spreads its intricate branching arms wide, creating a living net to capture any organic particles drifting down from the layers above. It doesn't waste energy swimming or hunting. It simply waits, patient and motionless, filtering nutrients from water that flows past. Sea cucumbers crawl slowly across the abyssal plains, consuming sediment and extracting whatever microscopic organic matter they can find. They're the janitors of the deep ocean, recycling nutrients that would otherwise remain locked in the mud. Giant isopods, crustaceans resembling enormous pill bugs, scavenge for food on the ocean floor. Some specimens reach over a foot in length, their size and adaptation to the cold, high-pressure environment. They can survive for months, possibly years, between meals. Their metabolism slowed to a crawl. When food does arrive, typically in the form of a dead whale or large fish carcass falling from above, they descend upon it in a feeding frenzy, stripping the remains to bare bone within days. Spider crabs with legs spanning several feet pick their way carefully across rocky outcrops. Their long, spindly limbs distribute their body weight, allowing them to navigate the uneven terrain while using minimal energy. Many abyssal creatures have lost their eyes entirely, having evolved in eternal darkness where vision provides no advantage. Instead, they rely on chemical sensing, detecting the faint traces of amino acids or other compounds released by potential prey or mates. The abyssopelagic zone has also given rise to theories that refuse to die. Some believe the megalodon, a prehistoric shark that could reach lengths of over 50 feet, might still survive in these unexplored depths. Mainstream science insists the megalodon went extinct around 2.6 million years ago, with no credible evidence of modern survival. But consider this: the coelacanth, a fish thought to have gone extinct with the dinosaurs, was discovered alive and well in 1938. The megamouth shark, a 15-foot filter feeder, wasn't discovered until 1976. New large species are still being found. Could something as massive as a megalodon remain hidden? Most scientists say no, citing the lack of food resources at these depths and the absence of any physical evidence. But the ocean is vast, and the abyss is largely unexplored. The possibility, however remote, continues to captivate imaginations. Some researchers suggest that studying the abyssopelagic zone might help us understand how life could exist on other worlds. If organisms can thrive under such extreme pressure, cold, and darkness here on Earth, perhaps similar conditions on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons believed to have a subsurface ocean, might also harbor life. The abyss becomes not just a frontier of our own planet, but a window into the possibilities of the cosmos. At 19,700 feet and below, we reach the deepest, darkest, most mysterious realm on Earth, the hadopelagic zone, named after Hades, the Greek underworld. This zone exists only in the ocean's deepest trenches, massive fractures in the seafloor where tectonic plates collide or pull apart. The Mariana Trench, located in the western Pacific, is the most famous of these. plunging to a confirmed depth of 36,070 feet at Challenger Deep. To put that in perspective, if you place Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth, at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, its peak would still be more than a mile underwater. The conditions here are almost incomprehensible. Pressure exceeds 15,000 pounds per square inch, more than 1,000 times the pressure at sea level. The temperature hovers just above freezing. There is no light, no photosynthesis, no connection to the energy of the sun. This is as close to an alien planet as you can get without leaving Earth. And still, life exists. The snailfish holds the current record for deepest living fish ever recorded, filmed at depths exceeding 27,000 feet in the Mariana Trench. Unlike most fish, which have rigid skeletons and gas-filled swim bladders that would collapse under such pressure, the snailfish has a soft, gelatinous body that allows it to withstand the crushing force. Its bones are fragile and flexible, its tissues infused with compounds that prevent proteins from denaturing under pressure. It glides through the darkness, hunting tiny amphipods and other small crustaceans that also somehow survive in this hellish environment. Amphipods themselves are fascinating survivors. Resembling shrimp, these small crustaceans have been found at the very bottom of the Mariana Trench, feeding on organic debris that sinks from the layers above. Their bodies contain piezolites, organic molecules that counteract the effects of pressure on cellular structures. Without these adaptations, their cells would literally collapse. Perhaps most intriguing are the extremophile microbes discovered near hydrothermal vents in hadal trenches. These single-celled organisms don't rely on sunlight or organic matter from above. Instead, they draw energy directly from chemicals, hydrogen sulfide, methane, and other compounds released from Earth's crust. This is called chemosynthesis, and it represents a completely different form of life from what we're familiar with on the surface. If life can evolve and thrive based on chemical energy in the hadopelagic zone, it dramatically expands the possibilities for where life might exist elsewhere in the universe. Moons with subsurface oceans heated by tidal forces could potentially harbor similar ecosystems. The hadopelagic zone has been visited by humans only a handful of times, spending about 20 minutes at the bottom before ascending. Film director James Cameron made a solo dive in 2012, spending several hours exploring and filming. A few other expeditions have followed, but the total human time spent at these depths amounts to mere hours across the entire history of ocean exploration. Most of what we know comes from remotely operated vehicles and automated landers, equipment that frequently malfunctions due to the extreme environment. This lack of exploration means the hadal trenches remain almost entirely unknown. What lives down there in the regions we haven't examined? Are there large creatures we've never documented? Some expedition footage has captured fleeting glimpses of shadows moving at the edge of visibility, shapes that seem far too large to be the fish we know about. Are these optical illusions, distortions caused by pressure and low-light cameras? Or could there be something else, something massive, lurking in the trenches? The ocean, covering more than 70% of Earth's surface and containing 99% of the living space on our planet, remains one of the greatest mysteries in human history. We've explored more of the moon's surface than our own ocean floor. We've sent robots to Mars, probes to the outer solar system, and telescopes to observe galaxies billions of light years away. Yet the deepest parts of our own world remain almost completely uncharted. From the sunlit vibrancy of the epipelagic zone to the absolute darkness of the hadopelagic trenches, the ocean is a study in contrasts. It is beautiful and terrifying, The creatures we've discovered challenge our understanding of biology, pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible for life on Earth. And for every species we've documented, scientists estimate there may be thousands, perhaps millions, we haven't even seen yet. So what lies in the unexplored darkness? What massive, bizarre, or impossible creatures might be drifting through the trenches at this very moment? Could prehistoric species, thought long extinct, have found refuge in the depths beyond our reach? Could there be entire ecosystems we've never imagined, functioning under principles we don't yet understand? The answers are down there, waiting in the darkness, and the journey to uncover them has only just begun. The ocean keeps its secrets well, but with each expedition, each discovery, we peel back another layer of mystery. What we'll find in the decades to come might not just change how we see the ocean. It might change how we see life itself.